What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast. We did it. We beat the Eagles. Job's not finished. We're on to Houston, but we're going to spend a long time talking about the Eagles game. But come check in. We got Eagles post game, Houston pregame, and of course, Bada Bets. Pop.
Left hand up.
Left hand up. The boys did it. The boys did it.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a blast. That was just one of those, like, that's why we put ourselves through it, right? That's why we sit and watch football and put ourselves through all the stress and the trials and the tribulations. That's why, right there. Wins like that. That's why.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. And, I think being on a national TV game, being the underdog, and, I actually text you. You could check the records, people, but I text you before the game, and I said, this is the kind of game that Taylor wins. Yep. His job was on the line, national television, 8-0 Eagles. Those are games he pulls out, and sure enough, I mean, they did it, and didn't look so great at the beginning. Down 7-0, down 14-7, but I really think where I gained confidence was that drive to tie the game.
Yeah,
that even when the Eagles came back and scored, I was still confident at that point that it was going to be a competitive ball game just because of that first drive.
Yep.
That built so much confidence in me, and I think the team that they can move the ball like that. Got to give coaches credit. I think Scott Turner called a really good game. I know we've been hypercritical of him here. Ron got the boys ready to play, which he always seems to be able to do. Great win.
Yeah, so, I mean, just to recap that, I mean, it was electric. That win was electric, and we did do a fair bit of talking off pod. We were kind of off our normal pregame, postgame schedule, but we did a fair bit of talking on Sunday and over the course of the weekend. And, I kind of echoed that same sentiment that you did, where I said, when we got off the pregame podcast, the last pod, I said, this is the kind of game that they're going to break our hearts. It's going to be close, and we're going to blow it. This one's going to hurt. We're not going to get blown out. This one's going to hurt. And then as the week kind of goes by, I just had this feeling. And I texted you on Monday. I said, I don't know. I got a good feeling about tonight. And usually when I send that text, my stomach drops. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's the Commanders. But for some reason yesterday, I felt good about it. And like you said, credit to Taylor. These are the kind of games Taylor wins. Job's on the line. Got to get it done. Big prime time. He's always better under the lights. But you know what? It's going to be shocking coming from me. Credit to Ron Rivera, because these are the kind of games that this team competes in consistently. You could say sometimes maybe we play down to our bad competition, but aside from the Bills game last year and one quarter of the Philly game this year, we typically play up to competition when we're matched with a really tough team like this. You look back at the Tampa win last year, you look at that first playoff game against Tampa, everybody likes to talk about. You look back at the win against Pittsburgh in 2020. We tend to play up to these games. The guys come prepared, and overall, I think that's the biggest thing that makes me excited, is that we saw guys come out on Monday night and punch the 9-0 Philadelphia Eagles, or 8-0 going into the game, punch them right in the mouth. And we got hit first, and we took a haymaker on that sack fumble. And Philadelphia scores. Jalen Hurts is in the end zone flexing. Lincoln is going crazy. And I texted you. I said, massacre. I said, this is This is a disaster.
It's not like Dominic to overreact like that in the first
No.
5 minutes of the game.
And you know what? Credit to Scott Turner. Makes his adjustments immediately. We go right to running the football, right to short passes, which you could say, why haven't we been doing that for so many weeks? Why don't we start the game like that? Whatever. He makes that adjustment for once very fast. And all of a sudden, we look like the better football team. I'll say it.
Yep. I mean, 40 minutes of time of possession and driving the ball up and down the field, getting key stops against them.
9 to 12 on third down at one point. I mean,
the biggest issue is we just didn't finish drives in the second half.
Yeah.
Only 2 field goals in the second half. And that glorious touchdown at the end of the game. I took such joy in that last touchdown, and made the score look so much nicer there.
That was great. Yeah, and credit to Joey Sly. Hits a career-long field goal of 58, and then hits another bomb from like 52. He didn't miss a field goal or extra point. I think he was 4 for 4 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points.
Yeah, he hit a 44-yarder, a 58-yarder, a 32-yarder, a 55-yarder. And Trustway actually came clutch on some of those holds. They were not the best snaps.
No, and speaking of bad snaps, let's make the transition. Let's clear out the elephant in the room here. Taylor Heinicke played really well, and he played smart football. There was one errant throw, one errant YOLO ball up to McLaurin, and I think we both said we don't really like the play call there. Maybe we'd rather not try and go for the home run in that situation, especially when Taylor's going to take it, especially going to Terry. But aside from that, yes, was there a dip in efficiency in the second half? Yes, but against a team like the Eagles, they're not just going to roll over and die. They're going to play you tough. They're going to make you play 4 quarters of football. And the first half, we saw smart, decisive football. I made the segue because of snaps. That might be the play of the game, where he scoops up that bad snap.
No, it was incredibly smart.
It past the line of scrimmage, off balance, throws it out of bounds. Great play.
Yeah, to have they have the presence of mind to know. He kind of knew exactly when it happened. He made up his mind. I got to go get the ball, and then I got to get it. He aimed his pass so it got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
It's as good as any other play he made all game, really, in terms of its importance and how it mattered.
And we end up going down and scoring 7 on that drive via Brian Robinson. So that was like, it's moments like those where it's like most people are going to fall on that ball and take a sack. Now, let's be fair. We've seen Taylor do that and throw it to the other team too. We've seen it happen. But in that moment, he shows that's where that X factor about Heinicke comes in. That's where that grit and that competitiveness, that's where that kind of scrappy nature, I think Terry called it, like he's dirty, he's gritty, he's grimy. That's where that nature comes in, and that's the difference in that football game. I mean, that is a huge, huge difference in that game.
Yeah, I think the thing is, and I'm doing my best to embrace the Taylor Heinicke experience. I think it's easy, depending on which way you go with it. You can focus on his limitations, and I think there are definitely limitations there. But I think what maybe I personally don't focus enough on is how his positive qualities offset some of those limitations. What he can do in situations like that. The obvious leadership that he has with the team. He inspires the rest of the team. It's almost like the other, 22 guys or 21 guys that he plays with on the field at any given time don't care about his limitations. They feed off of all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's really just about embracing that experience. I think there are other things that just are eye-opening about him, in the sense that 8 and 4 in his last 12 games. Like, I saw that today, and that was actually pretty stunning, right? 3-1 this year, 10-9 overall as a starter. I mean, in terms of Washington football team starting quarterbacks. I mean, even though you say 10-9, but then 8-4, and if he was a rookie or a second year player or something like that, you'd be feeling pretty good about it. Now,
Yep.
I still think he's limited. I still don't think he's the answer as a long term starter.
Agree.
But at this point, we're skipping ahead a topic here, but I don't think there's any way that you can, and I've flipped on this, which I think a lot of people flipped on this. I was really convinced that the team was going to go back to Carson, and I thought they probably needed to. At this point, I can't see any way that's going to happen. They're going to have to ride with Taylor. And Ron said some pretty interesting things today about when he picks a starter, he's going to commit to that starter for the rest of the season. So, I was having a difficulty reading him a bit. At one point, I was like, oh, is he just kind of preparing us for going back to Carson? But I just don't see how he's going to be able to. It's just because it seems unanimous amongst the players and the fans at this point that they need to stick with Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, let's take the losses out of it because, I mean, let's be real. Minnesota lost, tight game, heartbreaker, a lot of ugly losses during the Wentz era. Let's talk about how you feel after the wins with both of these teams. After Jacksonville, we won that game, and week 1 felt good. We put up 36 points. That was exciting, right? Was it 36 or 28 week 1? We scored a lot. And we come out of that game, and we're going, hold on a second. Did you see those interceptions too? Wait a second. What happened in the second and third quarter? You get that kind of unsettling feeling of like, wow, we were actually really close to losing that one. And then you look back at the Chicago game, and same thing. We felt after those losses, you feel like the team is sputtering. After the wins, the team is sputtering across the finish line. And then look at how we feel after the Green Bay game.
I think to be fair, I don't really. We've done the Carson versus Taylor things to death, so we're just going to be repeating ourselves and to go game by game by game. Coming off a great win, let's celebrate that win. I think the team as a whole is playing much better than when Carson was playing quarterback. To be fair,
and
the whole team and the fact that we're committing to the run game, running the game helps the quarterback for sure. But there's some level of spark with with Taylor for sure. We got to let it play out, see how it goes. Like you said, there's another great opportunity in the Houston game, but heck of a win, heck of a team win. I think. And not only the fact that they committed to the run, but the creativity in the run game, all the motion, some of the, the delays or hitches in the handoff. You could definitely see, especially in the first half, that Taylor was in a rhythm. I was texting you that he was in a rhythm. The offense was in a rhythm. Again, it seems guys were wide open, and he was executing those passes, in the second half, tailed off quite a bit, and then there was another one of those throws that just weren't necessary. And if there's one thing that, if we're going to stick with Taylor through the rest of the season, it certainly feels like that's the way things are headed. He's got to learn to be able to take what's open. And, his strength, he's completed some downfield balls when there's one-on-one coverage. If he's triple coveraged, there are guys running open that you can check down to, not even check down, take that 10 or 15-yard pass over that deep ball. That deep ball can act as a decoy. If you look at that interception of Terry, again, Gibson was running wide open. He might still be running now, right? So have that awareness of that guy's triple covered. I don't need to throw a YOLO ball now because we're winning the game. Go to play the guys are open or live to go another day.
I mean, the point I was trying to get to earlier that you wrapped up much more concisely is the spark that Taylor brings, and I think some of that comes from these exciting plays. But one thing I noticed with the Gibson thing, he's looking at his check down too early. And I started paying attention to that after you said that on the Terry pick. You said, oh my God, Gibson was wide open. I think you probably rewinded it on DVR and watched it again or something like that. And I started watching when he would go look for Antonio Gibson. He's looking at him way too early in his reads. So he sees him and he's watching Gibson come out of the backfield and his route's not ready yet. And he goes away from it. And then he doesn't always come back to it. So I think that's a coaching thing. And I think it's a great point by you. I think he's got to do a better job of, he will check the ball down. He actually checks the ball down quite a bit, or he takes the shortest route quite often. But he's got to do a better job of when there are those longer developing routes down the field, not keying in on those, because those are the opportunities when he forces the long ball. And sometimes it works out. He hit Terry. I mean, the deep ball that he did hit Terry on down the right side of the field, that was a brilliant throw. And sometimes he throws into triple coverage. The issue is almost never the throw, it's the decision. And that's fixable, hopefully. But either way, I think we're in agreement here. Got to roll with Heinicke. Let's get into the awards. And that way we can hopefully wrap up the Eagles segment and talk a little bit about Houston, because we do have a game to play this week, as much as it doesn't feel like it. Season's not over. 5-5. Boys got to keep rolling. So let's get into these awards. Sauce Award is Terry McLaurin. He's going to probably end up with the season long. I mean, it's getting boring at this point.
Is that 3?
Splice in. He was what, like 8 for 120 something, 112. There was
128,
102. Yeah, 8 for 128 off 11 targets. He's the best player on this football team by a mile, and he is a superstar. And I'll be honest,
he's not a top 10 receiver.
He is. I'll give it up. Before Terry, I mean, if we want to talk about omissions on that list, we're going to need a whole other episode. But before Taylor came in, Wentz wasn't
our own guy. You took down our own guy.
Before Taylor came in, Wentz wasn't finding him, and I was off mic. I was smart enough not to come online and say it. I was off mic a little overly critical of Terry, and I have been firmly shut up. He is the best player on this team by a mile. I think easy Sauce Award there. Just a beast. Helmet stickers. We could give out quite a few here. Do you want to do 3? Do you want to maybe take the one that we omitted from a couple weeks ago? Maybe slide in.
I think we should stick to 3.
Stick to 3.
I think we just got I think we're gonna have to come down to, our candidates are Joey Sly. I think Joey Sly's got to get one.
Yep.
So then it comes down to, between B-Rob, Derek Forrest, and Jamin Davis.
That's easy for me. I mean, all the love in the world to Jamin Davis. He's been playing great. He's definitely shaped into his role, but I don't think there's any way you can not give Derek Forrest an award after that performance. I mean, he's got a pick and he's got a recovered fumble.
Beautiful interception, yeah.
He brings the hammer, man. He is just a real big, physical, fast presence out of that secondary. I don't know about big, but he hits hard, and guys know he's coming. And I love what I see out of this kid. I'm thrilled. I'm like, did we get another Cam Curl? Did we get another one? Like, it's exciting. So Forrest for sure. B-Rob, 26 carries, held down the running attack, and obviously great touchdown run there.
Had a heck of a touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, you heard it was reported that he's not quite 100%, and I kind of thought that watching him, but boy, you just can't wait to see when he gets.
Well, he's still he's still a rookie, right?
Yeah.
So I think we take that for granted a little bit as he comes out, and it is that 1-2 punch, which was Ron's vision.
Yep.
With him and Antonio Gibson is really working out. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, some really good performances last night. It's a ton of fun to watch. And, kickoffs of the game is just the crying Eagles fans. Maybe it's like post-game kickoffs, but just crying about the refs, crying about this, crying about that. You know what? You got beat. You got your asses beat. Stop crying. Take it, like men and women and all of that as fans. You're 8-1. You're still 8-1. You thought you were going to just have a cakewalk. Like you said, they punch us in the mouth. We punch them back. They don't know how to come from behind because they haven't had to do that this season. And they got beat. They clearly got beat. Look at the stats. You were lucky to even be close in that game. If we would have, really done some things to finish some drives off. Stop crying. Give credit where credit is due. We got robbed on a couple of calls too. So, it all evens out in the end.
Yeah. I mean,
still looking for a pass interference against Benjamin St-Juste on that play.
Let's call it what it is. They blew the face mask call, sure. But the call on Dotson for pass interference that would have been the game-sealing pass was heinous. That was a horrible call. That was a clear makeup call. And at the end of the day, look at the turnovers.
On Dotson?
Look at the turnovers. Yeah, they called it a pick play.
Oh, the push off. Yeah.
Look at the turnovers. Look at the time of possession. We won that football game. It's just not close. I'm sorry. We won that game.
So stop crying, Eagles fans.
Yep. Always love telling Eagles fans to shut up. That is my favorite hobby. And especially when it's at the hands of our team. So we're not behind schedule at all. Let's get into the Houston game.
You're taking us back to the Jacksonville game. What is he doing?
I'll run the tape when we get to the end of it. I'll run the tape. My favorite, sometimes Pop jumps in because he tries to make sure that I'm not going to go on a rant, and I had like half a sentence left. Pop jumps in, and then he talks for 3 minutes in effort to try and slow me down. So it's all good. Hey, we love this team. We just want to talk about it. We know you guys just want to hear, but, we try and keep it concise, especially on the weeknights because it's late. We're tired. But anyways, Houston pregame. This is a good thing to keep it concise. This team sucks. Not much of a scouting report for me to do here. Dameon Pierce is pretty much the only thing I'm worried about here. Really good running back. They are good at running the football. That's pretty much all they do. And we are good at stopping the run. So maybe a nice little situation here. The biggest thing I'm going to be looking for, did you say who's the starting quarterback, Pop? Was that you asking who's the starting quarterback for Houston or who's the starting quarterback for us?
No, it was a facetious thing that now that Carson's available, who should be the starting quarterback. I think we've already had that debate.
Yeah, no, we don't need to get into that.
To me, I think like to quickly wrap it up, which had we followed the agenda and the timeline, I was prepared to do so. But anyway, that's for post game production discussion.
Should I reclip the part in right here where you said, and the quarterback situation, I know we're going off agenda. That was all you, Pop. Run the tape. I need my red flag.
But I think the thing that, couple other things that, one thing that Taylor does is he gets the ball to Terry. And you got to love that about him, right? Getting it to your best player. So it's great. But, I think Houston, they've played a lot of close games. And I know maybe, you argue that's loser talk or whatever. But if you go through their scores, they did get beat pretty bad by the terrible Raiders, but they played the Titans pretty close. They played the Eagles pretty tough.
Yeah.
And in fact, their game plan against the Eagles was a bit of a script to follow and how you beat them, play the Giants pretty tough. So we can't go into this game maybe a little bit like the Eagles came in to play us. And you could see, I think, again, I really liked that Ron had a little bit of an edge to him today. He talked a little bit about that he wasn't really happy, that he felt like the team over-celebrated a little bit, especially the younger players, and he was going to have a talk to them about that. So you could see it's a short week, he's getting them ready. But this is, again, if we want to change the culture and change the story for, Washington Redskins, Washington football team Commanders, this is the kind of game you can't just turn around and lose, right? And put yourself back in a losing record. And it makes you a little nervous. They got to come out. They got to play hard. And I think maybe we'll get into it with our keys to the game.
Yep. You want to go first, Pop?
Yep. So, I think for me, it's pretty obvious. You mentioned it. Teams have had success running the ball. So run the ball, stick to the running game, keep with that attack, keep being creative with it. Start fast on both sides of the ball is number two for me, right? And finish drives. Don't let them build any confidence, right? Let's get out on them early. I'm not saying we have to blow them out early, but let's get out on them early and start, be the better team from the opening, um, um, gun on both sides of the ball. And I think the third thing is really, we touched on earlier, Taylor's decision making, right?
Yeah.
He found a rhythm in the first half, but he lost a bit of that in the second half. Take the check down if he's going to be the starter going forward. You want Taylor to be Taylor. You want Taylor to ball out. We talked about that last week. But he's got to make better decisions. He's got to, take the passes that are there. And, I think he will do that, and he will build on, what he's done so far.
Yeah, love it. So for me, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a lot of what you've already heard this year. Number one, attack early. This Houston team is bad. I think we come out, let's punch them in the mouth. I don't love their odds of them punching back so hard. It's an NFL team, but I think we can hold them down. So come out, score early. Number two, win the turnover battle. Ties into yours a little bit about Taylor's decision making. But Davis Mills is not a good quarterback. So we have the opportunity to really pressure him and force the ball out.
I like that.
Let's win the turnover battle there. And number three, what it's really going to come down to, I think, is contain the run. I think their only chance at winning this game is going to be if Dameon Pierce can get going. He's a great, really talented rookie running back. And he can pose some problems. I mean, he ran for 138 yards against Philadelphia. So we hope that we have a better run defense than that, and I think we can contain them. Especially you give Del Rio the week to game plan. We've done good against some other pretty good running backs, but you never know. So that's my three. Really rapid fire. It's going to be attack early, win the turnovers, and contain the run. Pop, recap yours real quick.
Yeah, so mine are, what were they, son?
Run
the ball, run the ball, start fast on both sides of the ball, start early, start fast, finish drives, don't let them build any confidence, and Taylor's decision making. He's got to be more consistent and making good decisions throughout the entire game and protect the ball.
Love it. So, with that being said,
son, tell you, I love you. I like your keys. You were clear. You were concise. Great clock management as you were giving your keys. Nicely done.
Appreciate it, Pop. Thank you. Yeah, see, we've decided we're going to can the post-production meetings, and we're just going to integrate them as we're talking through the podcast to just give me more material to continue to edit through. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give footnotes.
I like it when your face turns red. I'm giving you feedback.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, man.
All right. It's Bada Bets time.
So, we both go 2-3 on the week. The damn
man, it was looking rough there for a while. I was 0-3.
Chargers, man, 1 point, 1 damn point. I think if we were bet a money line, I would be clean this year. But whatever, is what it is. Dom and Pop, we both go 2-3. Pop is now 21-18 with 1 push on the season. I'm now 19-20 with 1 push. So still Pop 2 games out ahead of me. We'll catch you. It's all right. We got a long season ahead still. Week 10 recap. Rapid fire. Falcons -3 at the Panthers. We both lost that one. Sunday, Seahawks at Bucks. Both took the Seahawks. Lost. Sunday, Vikings at Bills. Probably the best game of the week. -5.5.
Wow, what a game.
Vikings got 5.5 points. I said, that's too much. I'm taking the points. And I won that one. Pop went with the Bills. Lost. Josh Allen. Stop throwing picks in the red zone for the sake of my fantasy team. Please, Christ. Sunday night, Chargers at 49ers. 49ers were 7-point favorites. I went the opposite direction. I said, you know what? San Francisco's that much better. I'm taking San Fran. Pop got the dub on that one, going for the Chargers. I took the loss. Monday night, Commanders at Eagles. We bet on the Commanders. We said, I fungulo to the emotional hedge. And you know what? It paid off. And I'll tell you what. Here's the other thing. I actually went back on my word. I was a hypocrite. I didn't have any choice. but I had to play A.J. Brown in my fantasy league. I didn't want to do it, but I had to, and I lost. So there's further proof. I fungled to the emotional hedge. There we go. So speaking of that, week 11, let's get into
But you talked on it real quick, and I think we could spend just a minute, 60 seconds on the clock. What a game. Vikings and Bills. I mean, what a game. Like, it's about as good a game as you can and that ending, where the Bills are just trying to get the ball out of their own end zone and they fumble. It's like, there's only a couple of endings in history. I guess the game wasn't completely over. They did have time on the clock. We had a couple people over the house, and I told them, hey, the famous Uncle Nick and our Ravens insider were over, and we were talking. I said, time on the clock. I think I was even texting with you. Bills could still score, but amazing. And yeah, the fact that, and I'll just admit it, not going to spend time on it. The fact that Jefferson wasn't in my top 10, one of the greatest catches you'll ever see on a 4th and forever, incredible. And it's a crime. He's the best receiver in the league.
That guy is the future.
Incredible.
That guy is the future. He is just, he's doing things. When Kupp had his year last year, he was getting force-fed the ball, and he was doing great, and I don't want to take anything away from him. What Jefferson does, that guy is just insane. We got all offseason to talk about it, but that guy.
No, and even Kirk, you got to give Kirk, credit where credit's due, and that team's rolling. That was a team similar to my take on the Giants, which I'm sticking to, which I thought was a little bit of fake news. But actually, I think that's not the case. They are a heck of a football team. And the fact that we played them and really should have won that game,
well,
maybe it bodes well for us too.
We should have had the opportunity to win that game. I think to say that we were going to go down the field and score immediately with no timeouts is a stretch. But yes, we played a really great team, really tough. I mean, we played what are the 2 best teams in the NFC for sure, back-to-back weeks, and point differentials in our favor. So we'll take that any day of the week. Anyways, speaking of point differentials, let's get into this bot of bets before I go on a 20-minute rant about why Justin Jefferson is the best in the NFL. Because I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
I know you will.
So Thursday night, Titans at Packers. This is a stinker. Packers -3 pop.
It's a tough game to pick, right? I mean, I think it's going to be a good football game. My gut tells me Titans. I'll probably be wrong, but I'll take the Titans. I'm just not quite believing in the Packers at this point.
Yeah.
I'll take the 3 in the Titans.
That's tough. I'm going to take the Titans too. I'll roll with you on that one. It's the safe play. It doesn't cost me if I lose. Sunday, Jets at Patriots. Patriots are -3.
I said I wouldn't do it. I swore them off, but I'm feeling Patriots on this one, so I'm going to give them one more chance. Last chance, Patriots.
Hey, shout out to Scott. I'm taking Jets, Jets.
There you go.
The boys ride there. Sunday, Cowboys -1 at the Vikings. That's a hilarious line. Cowboys -1? Really?
That's Vikings all day.
Are you sure about that, Pop?
I'm gonna double check. Keep going.
I'm taking the Vikings while you're double checking, and I'll give my pick first here. Sunday night, Chiefs -7 at Chargers. I am taking the Chiefs there for sure. I don't think the Chargers.
Chiefs -7 at Chargers. Man, I hate giving up 7 points. The Chargers played pretty good 49ers team, pretty tight. So I think Chiefs win, but I think Chargers cover.
All right, fair. There we go. A little split up again. And then Monday night, 49ers -8 at the Cardinals.
Yeah, so the Cardinals are playing their backup, right? Colt McCoy.
Kyler questionable, I think, officially.
Boy, I know I'm supposed to go quick here. I'm going to go Cardinals. I don't like giving up 8 points.
System pick.
They're
sticking with it.
Colt McCoy is going to get it done.
I think when you look at -8 for the 49ers, for me, I don't know. I'm no expert here. I'm 19-20 on the year. But for me, that screams Vegas is trying to get you to bet on Colt McCoy. And you know what?
How'd that work out for you last week?
I'm not going to Colt McCoy. I'm taking the 49ers at -8. That is a good football team. And that's a good football team that we're going to have
I tell you, there are three things certain in life: death, taxes, and Dominic's picking the Niners.
Damn straight. Damn
every
straight. I'm
time.
riding with it. I said at the beginning of the year, you guys don't know this, but I was a big Kyle Shanahan hater. Number one, president of the I Hate Kyle Shanahan fan club. As a football, I don't care about him as a human, but as a football coach. And I said I'm going to put it to bed this year, and I've watched that team play. That's probably been the team I've watched the most that's not wearing burgundy and gold. They're wearing one of the colors, but not both. And I was just beyond impressed by that football team. So, yeah, I'm going to bet on them every chance I get, I think.
Son, I've told you before, man, we don't know if we're going to be here on Sunday. Yeah. So you got to put aside that anger. You got to put aside that hate. Just love. These love, right? We just don't know.
Hypothetical bottom bets. If we happen to survive until Sunday, these are what our picks would be. Did you get confirmation on that Cowboys being 1-point favorite at the Vikings?
Yes.
That's really the line?
Yes. ESPN.
Jesus.
.com. Dallas -1. Probably won't be able to see it. It's confirmed.
If you can find that and it's at Minnesota. It's not at home.
Yep.
What?
You gotta go place a bet.
I might have to catch a flight to Vegas. That's insane.
Hey, FanDuel's coming to Maryland. I'm committed that I'm gonna turn the bottom bets into real cash. My winning record.
Don't touch the retirement fund, please.
You don't want to support me, son.
That's all I ask. I would love to if I could, but the way my bank account is set up right now. Anyways, funny. You know what? We didn't get a Kikats of the week this week, but I want to give one right now. Kikats to the state of California voted no on both of the betting propositions. I cannot sports bet in this damn state. I can pay 10.5 in income taxes, but I can't sports bet. What is going on in California? And resounding no, like horrible no. Apparently the proposition was written badly and people are actually in favor of it. They just didn't understand the prop. So classic politicians screwing us yet again. I just want to bet, man. That's all I want to do. I just want to bet. Let's get this right. Anyways, that's my kickouts of the week. We're 37 minutes in. Let's wrap this thing up. I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
Thank you for another great week, guys. Let's go Commanders. Let's go beat the Texans. Left hand up.
Left hand up.